And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California, a stone's throw away from Malibu. And yes, it is beautiful. It is sunny. There's amazing weather out there. It's about 12 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Wanted to see how the market opened here. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin's price action, some of the top altcoins, and pretty much where the market is going based on the current trend. But first, let's dive into some of the crypto news. Pretty interesting here. The Weeknd just partnered with Binance for the first crypto-powered world tour. Yes, the official sponsor of the tour, which kicks off in July, Binance has collaborated with creative incubator HX House on an exclusive NFT collaboration and co-branded merchandise for the weekend's shows. Additionally, virtual ticket stubs will provide attendees with access to commemorative NFTs that provide unique experiences to fans according to the release. Under the partnership, Binance will also donate $2 million to the weekend's humanitarian fund, which is pretty cool. So everybody that thinks NFTs are a joke and it's just JPEGs, you're just selling pictures over the internet. That's what it is now. It's going to evolve kind of like email, right? When it first came out, it took 45 minutes to download one photo. Right now, we're just selling little silly pictures on those NFTs, but there is something to it. Now, the next kind of interesting news, Chipotle. I don't know if you guys like Chipotle. I know me and my family and I, we eat a lot of Chipotle. It's just fast, easy, and slightly healthy. But Chipotle now accepts cryptocurrency payments as long as your wallet app supports the Flexa digital payments platform. So you can now reportedly pay for your burritos and your tacos with Bitcoin and other digital currencies in case you don't mind spending your coins directly instead of going through some exchanges. So Flex announced that the Mexican fast food chain can now accept payments through its digital platform. The option apparently available at all Chipotle locations in the US, and you can use it as long as you have a Flexa enabled wallet app, such as Gemini and Spend. You simply have to fire up your app, choose Chipotle, and show your phone at the cashier. Pretty simple. Wonder how many companies are going to be doing that going forward. Is there going to be a trend, right? Is the digital dollar right around the corner? Speaking of the dollar and NASDAQ, and we want to, take a whole picture across the markets. What are the markets doing? What's NASDAQ, the S&P, Bitcoin dominance, and then most importantly, price action trumps everything, right? So currently, I'm going to check in on Bitcoin in the daily time frame, and it's pretty cut and dry and simple here. Any kind of a daily closure back above 32,000, and I'm looking for the gap to get filled on the CMEs, coming in around 34 to 35,000 at this green 55. And that would be the first target. And if we throw on a fib here from this breakdown, do you want to come from there? No. Why don't we do it from here? So that is almost in line with the 618. If this bounce really wants to get going, could get as high as 39.5. Do I think that's more likely than not? Probably not. I don't. But that is something to be aware of. That 618 is the classic bull trap area. Now, downside targets. Let's take a look just off of this consolidation right here. And we could even do that. That does give you a target to fill the gap right there. Any kind of a daily closure, back above there. It's kind of been a whipsaw market, up and down and sideways. Bitcoin's pretty much going to do whatever NASDAQ does. NASDAQ had a little pump here this morning. Bitcoin had a nice little pump here too, but nothing has really affected the overall range here. We need a closure above or below on the daily time frame. Let's check in on the weekly. How did the week close? So this is kind of an inverted hammer or a shooting star. A shooting star would send the market down. If we get follow through, that would be more like a gravestone. That is a bullish reversal candle. And, we could get those targets back up to those upper regions we were talking about. That would be nice for a little bit of a bounce. So let's take a look at NASDAQ on the weekly time frame. And we put in pretty much a doji candle right there. And that's kind of a candle of indecision with some red volume there. I think a lot's going to, or probably what's going to play a role this week is May 9th, the inflation numbers come out. If inflation comes in hotter than expected, probably bad for the markets, bad for NASDAQ, and essentially bad for Bitcoin. If inflation comes in a little bit lower than expected, then probably good for the markets, and we do see an overall bounce. I mean, this is the first bounce for NASDAQ since, pretty much a pretty rough tumble down here, down 31%. And so we've bounced from the low to the high there, 12% so far. Question is, do we have any more downside to come? So what I am looking at here on the 4-hour time frame is pretty much a slew of lower highs right here. We do have a higher low structure. So on the 4-hour time frame, that's probably going to get us the next move on the NASDAQ, above or below. Sends us up to that target right there. And then below is going to be this target right here. If we do start closing NASDAQ 4-hour candles back below 12,198 or 12,200, I'd say we're going to be making some new lows on this correction here. And just to give us an idea, with a weekly target, we probably hit that to the T. So off of this bounce, right to the T, to the 1618. So we come back and retest support, and then, I guess there's another weekly target down there. If this wants to break again, your next target down 9,600. What would that be from the high on NASDAQ? And there's a lot of people calling this the tech bubble, the everything bubble. Similar to what happened with Amazon. So that would be only a 42% retracement. 55 would be down, way down there. So I don't think that's likely. We're not talking about that right now. That's kind of a more, but I do think this target could get, if this downside move wants to get some legs, and that, very likely could send Bitcoin down to the $20,000 level. If NASDAQ does want to come down. The other thing I'm keeping a close eye on is the dollar here today. The dollar popping back up. It looks like it wants to put in a higher low on the weekly. That would be a massively higher low. How would we confirm that this week with any kind of a closure above 102.77? And that would be another higher low on the weekly, and we'd be looking for some new highs. How does it look on the daily time frame? Volatility decreasing. Stokes are up. The daily range, very similar to Bitcoin. It kind of has this daily range. It needs to get above or below for the next big move to come. And I would say as volatility starts to expand, you'd expect price to go in the direction of the trend. This has been a massive uptrend for some time, but are we going to cool off and come back down to 99 cents? So basically, here's what I'll be looking for: a break out of this range on the dollar to give me the bias to the upside or to the downside. That will help add to my bias. Are there any divergences? Hidden bullish divergence. Yeah, so that is a couple drives of hidden bullish divergence, which could give you a bounce to the 618 or the 382 on a bearish retracement. It's coming in at 103.446. So that would kind of be the bounce target on the break of the range, somewhere in between here. That would not be good for Bitcoin. On the other hand, if the dollar wants to take a leg down, is Biden going to be printing some more money? Are they going to be doing some more stimulus? No, that's the problem here. Don't fight the Fed, right? When the Fed stops doing stimulus, they start raising interest rates, right? They're tightening. They're raising interest rates and they're taking, things off of their balance sheet. That is a form of tightening, and essentially they're saying they want the market to go down. They want the dollar to be strong, and that's what we're getting right now. NASDAQ really hasn't done anything significant yet as well. It's gotta dig itself out here on the daily time frame, and even then won't do much for me until we get a daily back above 13,500. It's just going to be another lower high in the making there. On the daily time frame, on the 4 hour, do we have anything really showing up? Is it bearish divergence? There's a few drives here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? Coming in from this high right there. These are all higher highs in price, lower highs in RSI. So that's where you're looking for hidden bearish divergence, I believe. In the downtrend, the prices making lower highs, RSI is making higher highs. So nope, this is just classic bearish divergence. Prices making higher highs, RSI is making lower highs. So does that get us a shot back to the bottom side of the range for NASDAQ? I do think so. NASDAQ probably going to come back down, at least test this support. If that breaks, we're coming back down to 11,764, and that's it for NASDAQ. So where does that line up with Bitcoin? You know, Bitcoin's still just trading in the same little range here. You know, again, even on the 4 hour time frame, didn't really break above or below. 32 is the line in the sand there. And if we start taking out, I would say even this last higher low, you know, this kind of higher low structure that we've been having, anywhere below 29,700, probably good enough for me to get a shot back to the bottom side of the range at 28.5, and then probably continuation from there. Okay, and we got Stokes crossing down. Volatility is about to contract. So could we just play out another little bounce, something like this? Where we just come in, make another higher low, and then make an attack above there and get the daily, over the next couple of days, maybe Wednesday, to, turn around here. Because we still have one thing on the board that, is the bullish hopium out there. And something I mentioned on the daily time frame on CMEs, we got Stokes still pointed up, and volatility extremely low. The expansion off this should get us a bounce as long as we are closing above 30,013 bucks on CMEs. I would be a little bit more on the bias for the bounce to play out first. And you could mediate that, with a closure back below 30,000 bucks, and the momentum will turn to the downside alongside volatility expanding, and we could look for that move to play out to the downside. But I think after this, unabated shot to the downside, we're at least due for some kind of a relief bounce here, and that would be completely okay. Bounces could come in, 35 to 38, 39,000. And that's it for Bitcoin today. I'm going to bring it into Ethereum really quick on the weekly time frame. A tick above this guy, probably going to head back up to the 9 exponential at a minimum. But, we just broke this area right here, this support. So came down, test the 200 exponential. Could we bounce back up to 2,500 and just retest the breakdown region? I think that would be completely reasonable for Ethereum, and that bounce target would come in somewhere around, well, that's pretty high. Yeah, so right around the 382 on a week bounce, so 2,400 bucks. Ethereum has been relatively weak as Bitcoin dominance is skyrocketing. I'll just point this out here. We want to look for Bitcoin dominance to break this region and, head up towards the next level, which is going to be around 58 to 59 bucks on the weekly time frame. And anytime Bitcoin dominance does want to get, up in the 90 or the 70 percentiles, that's typically an indicator, hey, you might want to start looking at some altcoins. Vice versa, as Bitcoin dominance is going up, it's essentially soaking up the altcoins. So you'd expect altcoins not to perform as well against Bitcoin in their Satoshi pairing, not in their dollar pairing, but their Satoshi pairing as Bitcoin dominance goes up. That's it for, so back onto Ethereum targets on the day. Volatility is decreasing and momentum is to the downside. Again, been relatively weak in comparison to Bitcoin, and we're getting rejected off the 21 here. And you know, one more drive of bearish divergence where price is making lower highs, higher RSI is making higher highs. I would expect a retest of the bottom side of the range, and it does look like probably structure does want to break, and we head down to that $1,500 target. That's what I would be looking at. Now, momentum will cross today to the upside with any kind of a closure above $18.28. And if Bitcoin does want to play out its bounce, I would imagine Ethereum does want to at least get to the top side of the range here, probably back at about 2150. That's it for Ethereum. Let's check out some of these altcoins that have been pumping today. Cardano up 5% today. And does the rally get faded is the question. Momentum's crossing to the downside. We've got two drives of bearish divergence. And if Bitcoin does want to come back down here on the shorter term time frames and kind of, you know, really test this 9 exponential, maybe it's 21, kind of retest support, the breakout level, then I would be looking for Cardano to probably retest this level somewhere around, and actually a 4-hour closure back below, really it would be this pivot, this last little lower high. Then I'm looking for the bottom side of the range to get tested again somewhere, you know, 45 cents gets a bounce, and then probably head down to about 40 cents to fill in the wick on Mr. Cardano. And yeah, there's just kind of a anemic response here. The hourly is coming down, volatility is increasing. Looks like the hourly wants to come and retest this low here. Might play out a bounce first and, you know, kind of just dribble its way downwards. What else did I want to bring up today? So NASDAQ, and as you can see, NASDAQ, the bounce is getting pretty much faded here. We were up almost $100 on the day, but the 4-hour bearish divergence looks like it does want to play out here, and that gets you a shot to the bottom side of the range, which we already got that. Question is, are we going to break it? So the more touches to a trend line, the weaker it gets, and we're coming back down here for the third time. Actually, for the 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, call it fifth time. Maybe we get a break to the downside and a little bit more extension to the downside. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed, highly favored Monday. Don't forget, if you want to find out how to put Bitcoin or crypto in your IRA and learn how to start trading with technical analysis, we have links in the description below. Feel free to check them out. Thanks and take care.